Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is not Michael Caine. No, my name is Georgie Newbery. I'm a flower farmer and florist based between fashionable Bruton and up-and-coming Wincanton here in gloomy today, Somerset. And one of the questions I'm asked quite often is how I manage my time. Because I am a keen time manager in order to be able to achieve a great deal. And so I can tell you that I have a very strict organisation of my week. And it goes like this. On Mondays, I do admin. So I do my invoicing, I make my plans. I have the famous year planner, I have 2 of these on the go at any one time. I teach workshops how to manage them, in case you feel like joining one. I do all my planning. I have started, this one looks very naked. This is starting next August, and I've already started adding things into it, which makes me a bit freaked out. But as a flower farmer, the more you know what you're doing in advance, the more you can make sure you achieve all your objectives as you go. So that's very important. So on Mondays, I do admin. So this morning I had a meeting with somebody who was talking about collaborating on workshops and demos. And then I've been looking at my calendar. I've been organising myself. I've paid my bills. And all I have left to do, it is 5 to 3, is write an article and tidy up the studio, because tomorrow I have a workshop. So Mondays I do admin. Tuesdays I often teach, because it's a good way to make a living. So tomorrow we have a career change flower farming workshop here. We've got 10 people coming, and it's always a really, really good day. And it's going to be our second last day of the year here at the farm. And I hope it doesn't rain. Yet this morning we had biblical rain. So I hope it won't rain on my lovely students. Tomorrow, so that's Tuesdays. I do also often teach workshops on Wednesday and Friday evenings. And why do I do it in the evening? Well, partly because it's a good time for my students to join me. These are online demos and workshops. But partly because then I can do a day's work before I chat to students for a couple of hours. So it works quite well for me. Wednesdays and Thursdays are my cutting and floristry days. So harvesting flowers. If you harvest flowers every day of the week, if you're a flower farmer, you can't really get everything else done. So you can either have lots of people who help you, or in my case, I don't have anybody who helps me apart from Fabrizio, who is out there fencing to keep the deer out right now, and Sue, my neighbour, who is a solid gold neighbour, who does 10 hours a week for us between sort of mid-February to sort of November. It's a sort of slightly ad hoc setup. Anyway, she was here today. She's always here on a Monday and a Tuesday. So today she finished composting the polytunnel, which will now be watered so that the seeds can all germinate with the first crop of next year. And tomorrow she's going to finish planting the biennials for next year. So that's Monday and Tuesday for Sue. Meanwhile, I only harvest flowers on Wednesdays and Thursdays, for delivery or collection on Thursday or Friday. Why Thursday or Friday? Well, because those are the days that most people want their flowers, because if they're going to have flowers at all, they're going to have them for the weekend. Why then have I got a bouquet beside me? Because, obviously, if somebody rings me up and I have an article to write and says, please can you do me a bunch of flowers on a Monday, of course I'm going to say yes. Plus, the person who rang me up was a friend and they want to deliver to another friend and I can't resist. And the garden has a whole weekend's worth of flowers popping open. So yes, in this case, I did a bouquet. But normally I should say no to flowers on Mondays and Tuesdays. Put all my orders in my file for cutting on Wednesday and Thursday and for delivering on Thursday and Friday. And that's a very efficient way to do it. When do you do the gardening, I hear you cry? Well, personally, I tend to do it in chunks of time at the weekend. Although, because we're very organised, it's not that there isn't that much gardening to do. It's we do it in big chunks and then it's done. So, for example, when my tulip bulbs arrive, I have put aside 2 days to plant 6,000 tulip bulbs. I need to make sure that the space is ready for them, and I need to know how many running meters of meter wide beds I need in order to plant those 6,000 tulips. But that's just a question of mathematics. I just need to have done it before they arrive. So those days are put aside as big chunks of time in which we achieve an objective in one big chunk. And quite often it'll be me, Fabrizio and Sue working together to get that big job done quickly. So weirdly enough, in my week, my flower farmer's week, the admin is very important. Teaching is important for me. Harvesting is very important on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Delivering flowers is very important on Thursdays and Fridays. But if I don't have a wedding at the weekends or an enormous amount to deliver, and given that most of our business now is click and collect from the front door, I can get quite a lot done in the garden on a Friday. So the skill is, if you're thinking about flower farming, consider how you're going to manage your time. Whether you're going to be a side hustle flower farmer, growing small quantities to see how you can do with a view maybe to taking it up a notch or two in the years to come, or whether you're a flower farmer already, but you're struggling to get everything done. My top tip is to divide your week up into real structure and stick to it. Some Mondays you won't have masses of admin, but unless you put time aside to do the admin, you won't get it done at all, and then you'll always have masses of admin and it'll get overwhelming. So I can say that Monday is going to be admin day. I've done my admin. All I have to do is write this article, instead of which I'm going to talk to you. And then I can deliver these flowers, and then I can do the school run. Will the article get written? Yes, it will. But if you don't give yourself time to do these things, they don't get done at all. It is very easy as a flower farmer to spend a lot of time doing small parts of jobs. Sowing a tray of seed, pricking out a tray of seed, planting out a little bit. If you're working like that, you're working like a gardener, and you're not a gardener. Gardening for fun is an occupation where you can sow a tray of seeds because you feel like it, and prick out a tray of seeds because you feel like it, and plant out a few plants because you feel like it. Growing flowers for sale, you need to sow whole crops in one go. Plant whole crops of tulips in one go. Put aside the time to lift all the dahlias and store them. Put aside the time to order more, to check the stock of paper and bags and books and sellotape and all the stuff you need, raffia. You have to make time to do everything. That is my greatest tip, is that it doesn't matter what kind of business you're running, whether you're a flower farmer or you're making soap or jam or patchwork quilts, the more you systematize the time, the more you give yourself a really strong time structure, the more you will achieve. You can break out of the structure if you want to, but if you don't have the structure in the first place, you will struggle to get everything done. There you go, there's my Monday motivation for you. I have got lots of things on my list which I should be doing, so now I'm going to write that article. No, I'm not, I'm going to deliver these flowers. But then I will write that article, I promise. Next, anyway, if you enjoy these clips, please do subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon, and we'll tell you when we've got more clips coming up. And if any of the tips and tricks I give you along the way are helpful, please do buy me a coffee. There's a link for coffee buying in the blurb to all my clips. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you soon.